Hello, friends. We are back with our third episode of Two Minds, Many Biases, and I have Pawan with me to help us go through this journey. Welcome, Pawan.
Hey Pankaj, hey everyone, how are you?
So, recently, I have been a little bit more wary of dogs in the society, near the society, etc. Incidentally, there is like a large number of dogs who are outside the society, and there is a huge thread on the internal mygate, and people are taking up like a position of somebody will just post pictures of dogs sitting in common areas, etc. There is various safety issues being flagged, and historically I have not been too much worried about it, but yeah, I have been hearing about this news about dog bite cases being on the rise, etc., and this is playing on my mind. So do you want to just shed some light on what may be going on here?
Yeah, I think this is a classic case of availability bias, wherein our mind confuses the likelihood of or frequency of occurrence of something by how easily it is for the mind to recall. So, since you have been reading, a lot of these articles on maybe social media about dog bites, and even on your own internal society channels, you have been, reading about articles on, dog bites and all. So it becomes a lot more easier for your mind to recall, that dogs bite, and you think it is far more common than it actually is. Whereas when you were growing up, I think articles on dog bites and all were not that common. So it for the mind, it was not that easy to recall such articles, and this is a shortcut which the mind uses to like whatever pops up first in the mind, use that information to form a decision. And if we consume a lot of news about certain event, it becomes easy for us to recall that, and that like pops up very easily in our mind. And so we form a opinion about that incident a bit incorrectly, that that incident is much more likely to occur. And I think that's what happening with you.
Interesting. So what you're saying is whatever is easy for me to recall, I think of that as being somewhat more probable.
Exactly. Yes.
Uh, shall we try a demonstration of this? Do you have something which we can try
Yeah,
based on
yeah,
my
yeah,
memory?
yeah, yeah, sure. So, like I have a quiz for you. It's going to be an interesting one, not a harsh one. So,
Sure,
uh,
sure. Bring it on.
can you uh, can you guess whether there are more words in English language that start with the letter K, or are there more words in the language that start or that have letter K in the third place?
Okay, so starting with letter K, yeah, there's definitely kite, kangaroo, right? I can think of a lot more words. Uh, Words which have K in the third place. Uh, there's bike. Uh, yeah, I would think that there is perhaps a lot more words beginning with K.
Than words which have K in the
Yeah,
third place.
just based on, yeah, actually, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right, right. Yeah, I think that's fair, because it's much more easier to recall a word beginning with a letter than it is to recall a word with a letter in a particular
Oh,
place.
yeah.
But the truth is, there are twice as many words in English language which have K in its third place compared to words beginning with letter K. So just because it is easier for us to recall
Right.
words that begin with K, we tend to overestimate the probability of such words rather than what it actually is. I think that's a very clear example of how availability bias tends to influence the decisions that we make.
Got it. So basically, we have this problem of uh, incorrectly computing the probability of an event based on our recall, and our memories are not perfect, right? So human memories
Correct.
are fallible. there are numerous cases of people also, maybe they are under some kind of stress, they come up with false memories, etc. We know that memory system is, it does all kind of funny things. Got it.
Right.
So this bias then happens. What is the like overall impact of this bias? Maybe we can talk about some of the scenarios in which this bias starts playing a bigger role.
Sure, sure. So I think, say, let us talk about a professional setting, where, this bias could play a role. And I'll again give you an example. So there was a study done by a professor. So the professor used to teach a course in a university. And at the end of the semester, as we, typically do, the professor sends an evaluation from to all the students, and they evaluate the coursework and the professor. What the professor noticed was that whenever he asks for 10 examples of improvement in the course versus 2 examples of improvement in the course, so the course rating was much higher when the examples of improvement were that were asked were 10 versus 2. And what this tends to show is that when students were asked to give 10 examples of improvement, which is like not an impossible task, but definitely a much difficult task, because you have to put pressure on your brain to think of those 10 examples. And so the recall was not that easy. The students were struggling to come up with 10 examples,
Right.
where the course would have had an opportunity for improvement. So when they were struggling with recall of such examples, they thought, okay, the course is good, and they rated the course high. But when they were asked to quote only 2 examples for improvement, that's not a very difficult task. It's very easy to recall 2 examples of improvement for a course. So then the recall was very easy, and hence students thought that there are maybe a lot more opportunities for improvement in this course, and they rated the course lower.
Got it.
Again,
Interesting.
and this can be it can be applicable to any professional setting. For example, another example which is very similar is some people were given a task where they had to quote 6 examples of how they have behaved assertively in the last few months, and then they were asked to rate on a scale of 1 to 5 how assertive they feel they are. A second group of people were asked to give 12 examples of how situations where they have behaved assertively in the last few months.
Okay, and let me
they were-
guess.
so
When they are asked to give more examples, they feel that they are less assertive.
Exactly, because it is not that easy to recall 12 examples. So, if you don't find it easy to recall something, availability bias, creeps in. It confuses the ease of recall with, higher probability or higher likelihood of something occurring, or lack of ease of recall with, lower probability or lower likelihood of something occurring. So in this case, because they were not able to recall 12 examples of, their assertive behavior, they thought they are not being assertive, and this has implications in maybe when an employee is doing their self appraisal, or when a manager is maybe doing appraisal for a person. So
Right.
how you drive
Yeah,
these
and I think
conversations
that's
with
why
the team members
it's
can
common
play a role.
practice nowadays to like keep a journal of your accomplishments and things, etc. So that when you are going for your promo or your review, you don't really have issues finding those examples. Okay.
Exactly. Because if you struggle to recall those examples, you are going to rate yourself, a bit poorly than you
Right.
actually
Got it.
maybe. And then similarly, if your manager doesn't, know all these examples that where you have shown good behavior, the manager will also struggle similarly. The manager will not able to recall, good examples, where you have behaved in a good way. So I think, in professional setting also, I think
Yeah.
there is a lot of implication of how availability bias creeps in, and that is why people also say that always keep your leaders updated of what work you are doing, what are your achievements, so that they feel easier to recall the great work that you have done.
Got it. Yeah. So this, yeah, definitely, I think you have hit a high note here with regard to why this is so important and widespread, because our memory systems have issues, and as we have seen in a few of these examples, you know, um, if you are not able to recall information, or if people are not able to recall information about you, this can adversely impact how they will, finally, maybe they'll submit some opinion about you, and this may impact your career growth. Great.
True.
What about an example from domestic life, personal life, some examples also, so that the audience goes out with compelling examples of why this is important and why we should be watching out for this.
Yeah, I think in the domestic life again, like like a lot of times when we tend to estimate our contribution to, say, activities in household, uh, so whatever we have done for the household, those examples are much more available to our mind, because they are done by us, so we find easier to recall those examples,
Right.
uh, versus say some things that our spouses have done. We may not,
Mm-hmm.
like, we may not find it easy to recall those examples. They may not be that easily available to our minds. So what
Right.
then happens is that we tend to overestimate our contribution to household
Yes, yes,
chores,
yes.
or anything in the household, and we tend to underestimate the
Yeah, yeah, this
contributions
can
of
be
our
a seed
spouses.
of like quarrels, and this can lead to like discontentment, that hey, it looks like the other partner is not doing as much, etc. Whereas the reality
Correct,
may be
correct.
that maybe the work is being put in equally, or maybe it may be even on the other side, right? Just that
Exactly.
we are not aware of it, or we are not able to recall it.
Yeah, yeah. And like this is like a root cause of a lot of quarrels in the domestic sphere, but it can also be extended to professional setting, where imagine someone working on a team. Now they would overestimate their own contribution to team, because they find it easier to recall examples
Right.
of their own contributions,
Hmm.
rather than recalling examples of someone else, or their peers contribution. So I think it is very important to be very aware of when we are estimating our contribution versus contribution of our peers or our spouses, that this bias could be playing a role, and we shouldn't really base our decision on this incorrect information that our mind approximates.
Yeah, that's a great way to summarize it. Awesome. So I think, yeah, this is also one of the important biases to watch out. And in the last few episodes, we have seen how these are so common, and just being aware of how these shape up our decision making is, I think, prevention is better than cure. So that's the philosophy to apply here. So great, Pawan. Great for having a chat about this today, and I'm sure that this is benefiting. I'm already getting feedback from some people that, yeah, somebody, an old timer, old colleague, he said, yeah, I already learned something today. So that's good, good to hear from our viewers also. So I appreciate all the stories which you have been telling us through this medium. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. I really love it.